guys.
Welcome back to Project 15. Today is day 26.
We're going to be reading from Romans 13, 1-7 about respecting authority. So what you can do right now is pause and read the passage and come back when you're done.
G'day teenagers. Well, we live in a world where authority figures lead and rule. We all have authority figures in our life who we have to listen to and we have to submit to their authority. They might be our parents, teachers at school, principals, managers at work, or even the government. There are authority figures who lead this world and we have to listen to them. Well, in Romans chapter 13, Paul gives us instructions about how we as followers of Christ are to submit and listen to the authority figures in this world. Listen to what he says. Everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God. So when we read something like this, we tend to think, what about bad authority figures? What about people in our lives who abuse their authority? Does that mean God has placed abusive rulers and He has given them authority over this world? Well, what Paul is saying here is not that there are not authority figures who do the wrong thing and they abuse their power. There definitely are. When we think throughout history, we think of people like Nazi Germany, we think about Stalinist Russia, or Chairman Mao. These are people who abuse their authority. There are even politicians today, leaders and rulers today, who abuse the authority that God has given them. Maybe even parents or teachers might abuse their authority on occasions, or managers at work. But what Paul is saying here is that God has created this world and He has put leaders in charge, and He's created the hierarchy or the structure of this world to ensure that leaders rule and make laws, otherwise there will be anarchy. So what Paul is saying here is that authority, when it's exercised properly, is a good thing. Yes, there are authority figures who abuse their power. That was definitely true in Paul's day. The Christian community he was writing to was suffering at the hands of abusive authority and abusive people in power. But his point is that God gives people the chance to lead, the chance to have authority, the chance to be in positions of power. And if they abuse their power, then they will come under God's judgment ultimately. But for us, we are called as followers of God to listen and to obey people in authority. We are to listen to our parents and respect them. We are to listen to our teachers and respect them. We are to listen to our managers at work, or even politicians when they make laws. We are to be obedient people, people who submit to authority in this world. Look at what Paul says to the Christian community. He says, pay your taxes. He says, for government workers deserve to be paid. They are serving God in what they do. Give to everyone what you owe. Pay your taxes and government fees for those who collect them, and give respect and honor to those who are in authority. So he's stressing the importance of being a good citizen of this world, listening and respecting the authority of those who are in positions of power. Now, that was extremely important in Paul's day. You know, the Christians in his community had to listen to the authority. They had to respect the authority. They had to role model what good obedience looked like so that they could lead the world and to show people what a healthy relationship with God ultimately looks like. Now, this is true for us today, brothers and sisters. Teenagers, we should respect the authority of those who are in our lives. If you're a follower of Christ, you need to be obedient at school. You need to listen to the instructions of your teachers. If you're a follower of Jesus, you need to respect the authority of your teachers. Now, this doesn't mean we listen and obey them when they teach us or tell us to do the wrong thing. If somebody in power tells you to do the wrong thing, you don't have to listen to them in those cases. If someone's telling you to disobey God, you don't have to respect their authority in that position. In Paul's day, the Christians were being told not to worship Jesus. They were being told to worship the emperor. They, of course, didn't listen. They practiced civil disobedience. But by and large, we are called to be obedient people who respect authority and people who respect people who are in positions of power. And I want to challenge you with this, teenagers. Are you respectful of those people who are in power? Social media can be quite toxic. It can be over and hypercritical of people who are in authority. Now, I stress, if you are a person who's in authority, this doesn't give you the right to abuse your power. The Bible talks about how God will judge those who practice evil and wickedness. But it is a reminder to us to be respectful for those who God has placed over us. And that starts in your household, by listening to your parents when they tell you to do something. If they tell you to go to school, if they tell you to keep your room clean, if they tell you to spend less time on your computer or on gaming and do your homework. As a good follower of Christ, we ought to do that. Ultimately, all authority starts with God. When we are obedient to God, who sits over us, the God who created this universe is our ultimate authority figure. When we respect God, we can respect others. So I want to leave you with that today, teenagers, and let's go now into our 7 minutes of prayer, and we'll see you next time.